All right, welcome to the next video where we are going to be learning about the structure or the anatomy of a website. So a website is made up of three things. First is your domain name, and I'm just going to be showing you that earlier example that we just saw of that Spanish photographer. Okay, so one is domain name, which is nothing but the name of the website like we'll be seeing. Then you've got the hosting service, which I'll just talk about what this exactly means. And finally, you have a software which you require to make your website, which is something like the platform that we saw, which was WordPress. That is something that we'll be using. Okay, but let's quickly look at the website to just understand these three things. All right, so this was the website that we just saw. So you can see here, alexandrasupport.com. So first of all, this part, okay, that means the name of your website, that is what we call as the domain name. So this is called as the address of your website. This is what people type in order to get to your website. And I'll talk more about domain names, because for each of these three things that we just saw, we have detailed videos coming up where I'll even be giving more explanation about them individually. But right now, just kind of making you explain in a quick way. So this is the name of your website, and then you have to buy this domain name, as we're going to learn later on, okay? And then you have something called as hosting. Now, hosting is something you cannot see, but what exactly is hosting? It just means that you need to sign up for a service which allows you to store the content of your website, okay? So for example, if you take a few shots, like since we're talking about photography, this example can be good. Let's say you go out somewhere, you take a few shots. Where do those shots get stored? On the memory card of your laptop. Let's say you want, of your camera, sorry. And let's say you want to store these shots on your computer. So what do? You put that memory card on your laptop and you store it in one of the drives in your computer. Anytime you have any content, be it photos, be it anything, it needs to be stored somewhere, right? Similarly, the content on a website, for example, what is the content on a website? For example, you can see here, Alexandra has put a lot of photos here on the website, like you can see different photos. And of course, photos are going to be one of the most important things in a photography website, since you're using it to display your portfolio, right? But that's not the only content. You also have this logo somewhere which must be stored. You also have this text, these colors. Everything that you see on this website is nothing but content for which you need some space. Okay, so just like on your laptop, you have drives, disk space. In the internet world, you need somewhere, some space on the internet to store whatever's there on the website, like some third-party companies which give you this space, okay? And for this, you have to pay them a small rent. But this is what hosting is, that you're telling them, listen, host whatever content on my website is there, host it so that when someone comes on the website, people can see that content, okay? So think of it like this online disk space that you get with hosting. Okay, and that is also something that you have to pay for. Finally, you have the third part, which was the website making software, which in this case will be WordPress. Okay, so once you've got your hosting, once you've got your domain name, you just have to install this website making software, and then it looks something like this. For example, this is my own website, creativepadmedia.com, where I sell my photography and videography based online courses. And if I show you the back end of this, so this is the front end, but if I show you the back end of this, this is how the website actually looks. Okay, now it must be tough for you to understand, but don't worry, we will be learning about all that you're seeing here. Okay, but what you're seeing is the back end of the WordPress software. Whatever you do on the back end gets reflected in the front end. That's how you create your own website. Let me just give you a small example, okay? So for example, if I go onto pages here and I click on add new, and I'm just going to make like a quick page, okay? Again, we'll be spending a lot of time on this. I'm just giving you a demonstration. So I'm on the back end, and let's say I say sample page, and here I say sample body. And that's it. I publish this page. And just see what happens if I click on view page now. On creativepadmedia.com, I've just created this page called sample page with sample body. So you can see now we are seeing the front end. So we quickly did something on the back end, and now we're seeing something like this. Of course, this looks terrible, right? This looks too basic. So that's not something exactly we'll be doing. There are ways to make professional looking pages, but right now I was just making a point, okay? So these three things will ultimately help you create your website. So just like this, like a domain name, then whatever you see on this website is being hosted somewhere or stored somewhere. That's your hosting service. And finally, you have the website making software which will enable you to do something like this. Now is the time you will be able to understand that these three things is what those platforms that we looked at earlier give you together. Okay, you don't have to do this separately. But with WordPress, which is just a website making software, these two have to be done separately, and then we tie it up with our WordPress software. So just slightly the number of steps increase, but you save a lot on the money. And you'll fully understand this when we start actually buying our domain name, buying our hosting service, and then installing this. That is the time you will understand that. Also, before we start this whole process from the next video onwards, I just want to tell you one important point as to why I chose WordPress to be our chosen platform. Once you go through this course and you know how to develop a website using WordPress, that means this manual way of doing these three things, if you ever change your mind and let's say you decide to go for those platforms that I showed you because of convenience, doing that will be super easy once you've gone through this route. Okay? So once you've got the WordPress route with you, you know how to do it, the other platform routes become very, very easy, so you can switch over anytime that you want. But the other way is not true. Okay, if you want to come to WordPress using those, you will find it tough. That's why I chose the slightly more difficult alternative, because once you understand this, you literally can make a website in any way that you want using any platform. Okay, so I hope that really convinces you that we are doing the right thing here. And from the next video onwards, we will start this process of understanding these three things, and then actually buying these three things and creating our website. So we'll start things in the next video from this domain name. I'll see you there.